Boom, and welcome to another episode of Nobody Watching. When you live in a free country, you are entitled to a litany of rights and freedoms from the moment you pop out of the chute. At no cost to you, you're instantly harnessed with the freedom of speech, the right to lawful assembly, due process, the right to free and fair elections, the right to not incriminate yourself, the right against unreasonable search and seizure, and so on. It's a pretty sweet deal. It basically means that you can do or say pretty much anything you want in the course of your existence as long as it doesn't restrict the rights of others and it doesn't break any of the other laws that help govern what we define as a civilized nation. You have rights, even if you're a hardcore jackass. Bully for you. However, there seems to be some confusion around how to best execute those rights as you go about your business. You have the right to be and express yourself as a hardcore jackass. But should you? The issue of can versus should muddy the waters of how we understand our freedoms. For example, you can gather to express your outrage over the things in our society that are truly unjust and need attention and correction. But should you do that if you are working with bad information? There's nothing stopping someone from screaming about how the earth is flat. But I'm sorry, it's not. And all the screaming and anger dumped into supporting that position will not alter that fact, no matter how hard you want to believe it. It is a fact supported by overwhelming evidence cultivated over centuries of study. The time for that debate has long passed, and it's time to move on. Yet, there are people who insist and still believe within the very core of their being that the earth is flat, and it seems nothing will convince them otherwise. Some would consider that pure folly, or other, more descriptive words. The flat earth argument is a clear example of how aggressively acting on a disparity of understanding can lead to problems when you decide to proceed with voicing your opinions in the public forum. Sadly, there are many more ill-informed screaming matches taking place across the country with the same level of intense personal commitment and bravado, many based on zero facts, highly distorted ideals, or the tales bred from a factory of ignorance. What is the end game there? No matter how many people you scream your version of the facts to, no matter how many converts you get to listen and follow, the facts remain the same and are unchangeable. So that begs the question, what brought you to this point of inflexibility? Is it just your interest in venting your frustration? I get that, but putting falsehoods above facts to the detriment of others puzzles me. Somewhere in a world of Karens and Kevins and helicopter parents and leaders who play loose with the facts or make up their own to suit their current situation and everyone gets a trophy baseball, we have become a society who believes that screaming about something will make it so just on the merits of the statement itself, and that idea is eventually made truth as is perpetuated. It's like we are digressing collectively into an era of the terrible twos, where it's believed that a tantrum or a tantrum en masse is deserving of attention and action, despite the baseless claims on which they are founded. But not just any action, only the action they demand will suffice. As most parents know, giving into a tantrum may create a short-term peace, but it plants the seeds for more formidable issues in the future that are more difficult to resolve. I admire people with the time and the fortitude to stand up for their ideals. I appreciate, to a degree, the ones who aggressively rage about whatever half-baked, conspiracy-laden, cloak-and-dagger ideas they tend to spew because it identifies them as people I want to stay away from. Our ability to foster intelligent, informed, focused, and intentional debate is degrading into schoolyard arguments based on contradiction, hubris, and name-calling, which only goes on long enough until that degrades into physical violence. This is dangerous ground and should be something that people mature away from, not slide deeper into. The world is filled with disappointments, wins, losses, draws, and joys. You will not always get your way, but how you decide to deal with those things will say more about you than you can say yourself. It's sad that this is a conversation that needs to be had. It would be nice if we could find some common ground someplace where we could talk about our frustrations and try to aptly address our needs holistically. But right now it seems a prevailing school of thought is to scream, yell, threaten people, smash stuff, and stomp around holding your breath until you get your way. Fact is, that's not how things work. They never have. Think about it. Be better. We'll see you next time.